there, viewers, and welcome back to another episode of Grumpy Monkey Garage, where I am joined by who's usually behind the camera, Mike over here.
That's
to
me.
Give us some perspective, and our lead technician, Raven, because today we're going to complain and comment on crossovers. I'm going to argue about crossovers today with these two. He owns a crossover.
I do.
She has elected to go with a sedan and a pickup truck and have just two vehicles. I own one of everything, so I kind of fit in the middle here. I don't own a crossover, though, because I think it's kind of a ridiculous category. I have to give you the definition of crossover, because if I don't, then people in the comments are going to say, but what about the Corolla hatch, or what about the Kia Rondo? And those really aren't what I'm going to talk about today. I'm specifically talking about the smallest category of SUV that is going to be 4 doors with a hatch that is on an SUV chassis chain, but is front wheel drive, and that's the basis we're going to be operating on. So small SUVs like the Blazer or the original Cherokee are not going to be qualified. Those are going to be qualified as mid-size SUVs. So I am specifically talking about smaller than that. So that's going to be like the sea of endless eggs.
Yes, egg-shaped.
Egg-shaped everything.
That was supposed to be my bit?
I
was supposed to talk about the eggs?
You want to complain about the
I
eggs.
do want to
Go ahead and rant about them.
Okay,
that's
well, let's get straight into it, all right?
All right.
I hate that every single mid to smaller size SUV is turning into an egg. They all look like eggs.
Don't we have a picture of like old style and new style?
Yeah, that's going to be the thumbnail.
Yeah, that's
most
a pretty
likely.
good video. That's good.
That it just drives me crazy. It's like I love like the different eras of cars, right? You've got like the 50s, they got like their own, the 60s, 70s. There's so many different styles. It used to be like almost every single like car manufacturer had their own style. Like you saw each vehicle and you could tell, you didn't have to look at the logo on it. You knew oh, this is a Toyota, this is a Chevy, this is a Ford. You know, you knew what everything was. Mm-hmm. Now you look at just this sea of endless like eggs. It's like, what are these things? It's like taking the personality out of these cars. They're just like manufactured, just heartless, soulless trash. That's what I think. They're all soulless trash.
They're all designed by that one lady from Moral Oral who's just obsessed with eggs. That's who they're designed by.
Okay. I haven't seen that show, but all right.
Put a picture. She's weird.
Yeah. I'll put it right over Andrew's head because I can do that.
Yeah.
I edit, so.
Yeah, he's our editor. But so I know why they're selling really well. And I want to discuss why they're selling really well, because all of you watching this probably have one, or your mom does, or your wife does, or whoever out there. You're going to have crossovers in the family, and here's why. They check a lot of the boxes. So when you're looking for a car and you want to do stuff with it, you look at what it's capable of, and it checks a lot of boxes. Well, it's not a Suburban. It doesn't get that bad of gas mileage, right? But the Suburban's going to haul a lot more and tow a lot more. But let's be real. How many people actually haul, in quotation marks, like put a large item into a crossover? When is the last time you've seen that?
It's out of desperation only.
My mom helped me move. Like,
she
put some tables in the trunk.
Because she had to.
Her Nissan Rogue.
A Nissan Rogue, the 4 scrunchies holding hands transmission.
Had the coolest marketing ever for the Nissan Rogue. Because it was
Star Wars
Rogue
nerd.
One. That was awesome.
Oh my God,
I'll never forget that.
Nissan
Imagine,
Rogue.
it's so cool. You got the Nissan Rogue driving like underneath AT-ATs and stuff. It was so neat.
And then the CVT blows up.
Yeah, I was about to say, and then you get left on Hoth because it doesn't work. Like, this is a horrible car. But let's
they weren't very good rebels.
They're not very good at hauling things, even though in a desperate moment they can, which is probably why people are buying it. We can, even though we won't. But I really want to preach about sedans. People forget that those can haul stuff too. We just had a whole $800 car challenge where we crammed an entire dorm room into sedans. It is entirely doable. So the fact that people say, well, I want to haul stuff, so I need this big SUV that doesn't get good gas mileage,
like
when you could just get a Corolla.
The customer house we were at the other day, there was a Solara hauling a trailer.
That's Toyota.
And he does it like all the time.
Yep,
like, he's always there.
There you go.
Yeah, so sedans and small cars can do that, and I don't understand this need. And people give me this crap of, I need to sit up higher because it's safer. But that's not the case. So if you took a small car like a Camry or a Corolla and rolled it on its head, you have a pretty good survivability, because if you look at the roof line from like the front of the windshield all the way to the back, it makes the arch, which is the strongest shape you can get. Whereas with a crossover, you have it in the front, and then you have this flat back. They all do, because that's where the trunk is. So you're going to get crushed in. Now, they have rollover protection and stuff. I'm not necessarily getting into specifics, and each brand has their own way of handling a rollover, but they're not any safer. I've seen many of people get into accidents and survive it in a Camry, survive it in a Corolla. You know, my wife has wrecked quite a few Corollas and is still with us, and that's why I buy Corollas for her, because they're safe. But just, I don't comprehend why people make that argument when technology has made that argument obsolete. Maybe in the 90s when, you know, weight mattered in a collision because there wasn't airbags.
And to be fair, I have a 90s Toyota RAV4, and if that thing rolled over, I am dead. It's just all window. Like, there's no...
Yeah, you're dead. But if you were in a Corolla, you'd be fine.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I'm getting at. So,
yeah.
But also, you have a RAV4, and it suits your needs, and it's a crossover. Mm-hmm. But then you got a 4Runner, and now you don't use the RAV4.
Well, I can tell you why. Well, there's many reasons why I don't use the RAV4, and I use the 4Runner instead. And it's not. It doesn't have to do with the fact that the RAV4 is a crossover. It just has to do with the fact that it's way older. It's from the 90s. It needs new tires. It needs new struts.
I'm hearing bougie.
It needs AC. We live in the South, like the Atlanta area. I need AC. I travel a lot for work.
My truck don't got AC.
Yeah,
I'm fine.
But the 4Runner, it's already ready to go. It's already ready to go.
Like an advantage still. Like,
but
I'm going to say you have a heritage advantage for being immune to the heat. I can't do this. I need air.
What kind of racist?
That you have an advantage? Ah, yes. So racist.
Yes, the Mexican could withstand the heat. Yeah.
I think you withstand it better than I do. I can't do this heat.
Every time you get in the truck, you just complain the whole time there.
That's why I don't ride in there anymore. We're done. We're taking my truck. I have air conditioning.
But the reason that, like, I think people choose the smaller SUVs is because you get better gas mileage.
Compared to
lighter,
what?
Better gas mileage, and they're easier to drive. Let's be real. You're not driving this massive tank. You're driving something smaller. If you're going in and out through the city,
at that point,
through downtown, it's not a pain in the butt. It's not.
No, he's right, because not everybody is as good a driver as us. I mean, let's be real. Would you rather your mom driving around in a Rogue or driving around in a Suburban? Which one is she more likely to crash?
Well, even at that point, like, why even have the crossover? What are you loading in there? Your extra groceries for your 3 kids?
Right, yeah. And that goes back to the sedans. Sedans
like,
and trucks really occupy better. They do better what the crossover tries to do both. And that's where they fit, is they're trying to be a Swiss Army knife. And if you have a Swiss Army knife, you could certainly, you know, process firewood, but an axe would do better. And that's what I'm saying. They're just everything a crossover does, something else does better. So really decide if it's for you based on your needs. How often are you going to haul something? And is it something you could just put a trailer on the back of your Camry? Because you could put a small trailer back there. Like, I mean, is this a skill issue?
Well, it's kind of like, you know.
It's always like the moms who have them. No offense, but
It is a lot of moms who have them. Let's be real.
And they're like, it's for
the
their
market.
kids and stuff. I'm like, well, you can fit the same amount of children in a nice Camry.
Also, maybe stop with all these children.
Yeah, maybe
or
learn
go
where
up
they're-
a size if you can't figure out that it's not Storks delivering them.
Sequoia time.
Sequoia time, 4Runner.
Yeah,
like,
still-
go up a size.
Like, there are cars out there that probably get better gas mileage than those crossovers. Like, crossover can get like 23, a Camry can get like 40 nowadays.
Yeah, the new Camry.
And
especially.
Camrys are a pretty good size. You can fit a good amount of stuff in there.
To me, the crossover is kind of like when you play Mario Kart. You've got like Bowser on one end of the spectrum. You've got like Princess Peach on the other end of the spectrum.
I've never played.
And then there's like Mario in the middle. You've never played Mario Kart?
I've never played.
What is wrong with you?
Well, they all got like different stats, right?
No, I'm tracking.
Like Bowser's the heavier, but like harder to maneuver, and then Princess. There's like different.
Yeah.
But this is the one in the middle. Yeah, it's the middle character.
Yeah.
It's like good. It's like.
That's what I'm saying with the Swiss Army knife design. Is like it does everything just horribly.
But some people. But some
it does
people
everything.
want something that does a little bit of everything.
And that's why they sell well. It checks a lot of the boxes. But what I was arguing with that is that they really don't. They check all these boxes. Well, I might have to haul something once a year. Like, that's my point. Like, do you really need that? How much fuel are you going to save? All the fuel you save by buying the Camry instead of the RAV4, you could have just rented a truck. I mean, U-Haul rents it for $20 a day.
Dude, yeah.
Like, how much fuel did you just save? You know, it's really not worth it. I do not track why they're buying these SUVs to use them one time a year. for their whole purpose. They normally just use them as commuters,
Sometimes
and that's dumb.
They be having the funniest recalls though. I think it was Subaru I saw,
Oh, Subaru. Oh, there's it.
but it's
hate
always
them.
the trunks. Like I saw.
Where they like open and then
they
just
open
like,
and then
bam!
try to kill you.
That's so
What?
funny. So
Yeah.
when you
I know about
open,
that.
so this is a real recall she's talking about. So when you open the trunk, it like slowly, like it's power assist,
Okay.
and then when it gets to the top, it guillotines. And
Like,
it's
really
it's
hard.
Nailing people.
It's just winding up that punch.
Dude, yeah.
it is. And
All
when,
right.
when it gets to the top, it's just bam.
Like if a person was in
That
there,
oil
they're
change was 1
paralyzed.
week late, you are dying.
If your oil change is 1 week late in a Subaru, that's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. That's the motor right there.
Knocking on death's door.
Every Subaru 2.5 ever. That is in our worst engines list, by the way, which you can see here. But we're not talking about engines.
Check out that video.
We're talking about crossovers and the sea of eggs, and we've addressed the BS safety concerns people have because sedans are just as safe now. People don't haul stuff. They really don't. We talked about why they sell well, because they check a lot of boxes. Let's talk about some cars that like beat the mold, that aren't an egg, right? Like you mentioned a very early Honda.
The 90 CRV.
It's very boxy. Like, I think that's pretty cool, and it's front-wheel drive, and it gets good gas mileage, and it doesn't look like a freaking egg. The 2010 Ford Escape is a box. Same thing with the Mazda Tribute. Those are twins, you know, like the Mercury Mariner. They're boxy. They don't look like an egg. But then 2013, 14, whenever the hell Ford changed it, they're now back to being a rounded egg. They've dropped off the boxy idea. I'm like, what's happened? Another crossover that we're going to irritate all the Jeep boys with because it's being used as a crossover. Even though it's not front-wheel drive, but it can be front-wheel drive if you pull the lever cronk. It's a...
Wrong
it's
lever.
The Jeep Wrangler. Every lever in a Jeep Wrangler is the wrong lever.
Wrong lever.
It's horrible.
Instructions unclear, entry.
The Jeep Wrangler is now being used as a crossover. I can hear you. They used to be great off-roaders, and everybody's going to say, I use mine for off-road all the time. You don't. 99% of Wranglers are not used off-road, and 99% of Wranglers are used for picking up groceries and kids from school. They really are. They're not used as off-road vehicles anymore.
They're just like the equivalent of a Barbie doll when you were a kid. You know, you get one, you can put all these cute little accessories. I want heart tail lights, and I want my Jeep to be pink, and I want all the ducks, and then I'm gonna take up 2 lanes and text while doing it.
Yep.
I feel like you have some anger towards these people.
I saw 3 of them on the way here, and they were all stupid.
I hate the backwards belt design, where the belt
Oh
runs
my
through
God.
the engine instead of being
Who
on the
thought
front.
of that?
Dude.
Chrysler, of course. The alternator's literally backwards.
It's so
Like,
dumb.
what the hell?
What's the stupidest idea we could go with?
This
That's the
one,
one.
yeah,
They
that's the one.
ran-
They ran out of crayon-y, so now they're eating chalk.
But the Wrangler kind of breaks the mold. It does look a little unique. Everybody can identify a Wrangler, and now
They do look really cool.
Now we have Ford trying to catch that vibe with the new Bronco.
Bronco.
And the Bronco, I'm putting in the crossover section. The first ones were crossover, not the old '90s trucks.
Also, the Bronco.
The first of the new ones.
Amazing ad campaigns.
They did. They did run a great ad campaign.
Sorry, I just totally interrupted you.
They
but it just
sold
popped in
the
my mind.
hell out of these cars. They
Yeah,
pre-sold
yeah,
them.
yeah.
And then they got them, and they're already being recalled because the 2.7 can't keep up with the weight, and it's exploding, which is funny to me. And the control arms are plastic or aluminum, whatever it is. It's so thin that when they're hitting bumps, they're just shattering, which is hilarious. That they made an off-road vehicle that can't get through a parking lot without falling apart.
Dude, drive through like
What
Atlanta.
That's the most
drive through
Ford thing
Atlanta in a
ever.
Bronco,
Yeah.
rip the wheel
That-
off.
that's practically you're
Yeah,
practically
instant lowered
off-roading
kit.
at that point.
Yeah, instant lowering kit.
Yeah.
I'm driving a giant tricycle now. It's but anyway, yeah, they're horrible. Another one that breaks the mold, but is a giant piece of crap, is the Renegade.
Ooh.
The Jeep Renegade. I don't even know if they still make the Renegade. They might not. No one buys them because anyone who bought them the first time told all their friends, "Don't buy this."
I see them on the road every now and then. They're
There was a song by one of those weird hippie bands called Renegade. And it was like, Renegade, Renegade, living like a renegade. Do you remember the song?
Yeah, I remember it.
They
I know.
used that in the marketing, and it sold pretty good the first year. And like I said, everyone who owned one literally warned everyone, please don't buy this. Like, it was just such a pile
Mistakes
of
were
shit.
made.
And watch, we're going to get people in the comments, my Renegade has 400,000
we
miles.
get comments like that on every video. Though.
Dude, and I know it's BS because I'll literally message them and be like, hey, send me your,
VIN.
a picture of your odometer. They just won't. because they're full of crap. But yeah, so the 90 CRVs, the Ford Escape, there's like 5, maybe 6, if I'm forgetting one, vehicles that break out of the egg. But the egg is so popular. So we've identified why this category sells well, but why don't we see more like the Wrangler, Bronco, Renegade, CRV, and Escape? Why don't we see more outside the egg? Why is the egg so appealing? Why do you like buying eggs?
Because it's aerodynamic.
Yeah.
And it looks so modern with our $300 light bulbs.
$300 light bulbs is real though. Like that's a real problem now.
Especially with like the newer cars, they come with like the dumbest LED designs for the headlights. Like, have you seen the new Hyundais?
Yep.
You hit a curb or a wall or something, there goes $1,000.
Yeah, it does. It's gone.
Like, why? What was wrong with light bulbs that you just? They're $10.
Light bulbs have gone out. I think the funniest thing though was like when you have to remove a bumper to change a light bulb.
BMW.
And I don't want to talk about that, but like just any of like some
Why?
of the
Why?
Chryslers and GMs now you have to, especially the Fords.
Yeah.
You're pulling a bumper to access an assembly to change
Like
that.
everything's
$10
just so complicated.
How many texts does it take to change a light bulb?
4 apparently.
Crazy.
It's just ridiculous.
In 4 hours.
The flat rate will be like 3 or 4, and it's just so for a light bulb. And I'm like,
Imagine being the person that have to pay for that too, because you explain to them, hey, in order to change out your light bulb, that's going to cost you 4 hours worth of labor.
See, they should have known what they signed up for based on what they bought. Like, you got a BMW, you're going to pay a lot of money for
We're
it.
gonna do a
We
video
are.
on why people buy crappy cars and then get mad at us for the repair bills. That's a whole separate video. That's coming up soon, so be sure to watch that.
Nice.
But that was a beautiful transition.
That was
I
a
think
great
That's gonna be
transition.
the next video.
If that video is already live, it's going to be linked
in
up
the
above.
description.
Yeah, in the description. It's going to pop
Is
up
it
above.
description? Description's down there.
Well, the description's down there, but then I can also put it up here,
Oh, so
like this.
Is this like the mechanics gang sign? I don't get this. This is okay. Anyway,
All right.
why are they
Grumpy
all eggs? Why are people buying them? Like, do we know? I mean, is aerodynamic and fancy? Is that what
I
they're
mean,
going for?
I literally think
there's
it's just...
no
yeah, like,
diversity in this
like
category.
think about
Gas
it. The
mileage.
90s was like so square and boxy, which is why I love the 90s cars. I love the boxy look on a car, like a 95 S10.
The 90s RAV4
Or like
was
the
best looking
80s
RAV4.
S10s. Those are really square. But as the years go on, they just get rounder and rounder, and eventually we're just going to start driving like ovals.
Yeah.
I
It's
think
gonna-
we're there.
Yeah.
Like,
gonna
I
be
really
the-
think we're there.
It's going to be the alien pill.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Like the pill spaceships that they've like seen on cameras and stuff.
Oh.
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking
Okay,
about?
yeah,
It's
yeah.
just us from the future.
Yeah, it's just us from the future. That's the
That's
epitome
That's the
vehicle.
Mazda
That is the-
CX-9 circa 3033.
Yeah. That's
Let's
what,
be real,
that's
Mazda
the
will
ultimate
be here,
vehicle
though.
right there.
I hope not.
I hope
The
not.
aliens
Mazda
figured it out.
Sucks.
They're like, why aren't you guys just driving eggs everywhere?
Yeah, what's
Come
going
on.
on? Like,
What's
this
going
is
on?
how
Get
you
with
like
it.
break the sound barrier.
Yeah, you guys are like fighting over chicken sandwiches and stuff.
Yeah.
You're stabbing the guy over the chicken sandwich at the Popeyes, but that's its own. That we're way off topic.
Yeah, that's pretty
Anyway,
funny.
we've complained enough about crossovers. Hopefully, if you're in the market for a crossover, you watch this video seriously and really debate, are you really going to haul anything that won't fit in a sedan? Do you need the extra money to spend in fuel, maintenance, repairs, everything else that goes into them just because they're bigger? Do you need that, or can you get away with the sedan and rent the truck the one day a week you haul a Christmas tree? Or the one day a year you haul a Christmas tree?
The one day a
One day a week.
One day a week, you probably need an SUV if you're hauling stuff one day a week. Let's be real.
Who hauls
The
a Christmas tree
I was
every
going to
week?
say 1 week a year when you actually haul
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Oh, we haven't even brought up Opel.
You want to talk about Opel crossovers and how they're the worst ones?
I hate Opel. The Buick Encore, like, why make this nice sizable
There she
car
goes.
and then put this stupid little engine in it? And it's such a small engine that you need to add a turbo just to be able to go 60 down the freaking highway. And then, it leaks. It leaks. Oh, guess you got to take half the car apart.
The 1.4 deserves its own video of how horrible that engine is. But the comical part about them putting that tiny engine... You know what? This does apply to crossovers. Lots of brands are putting really small engines like the EcoBoost in Ford, the 1.4 in the GMs, in these giant SUVs because they're trying to meet emissions and fuel economy standards. And the consumer is too dumb to realize, man, if I overwork the hell out of these 4 hamsters up here, that's going to pull this enormous vehicle and my fat self in here down the road, it's probably not going to last very long.
And because they're not full-size SUVs, they have to cram a lot of stuff in that little engine bay, which just makes it a huge nightmare
I
to
think
work
it's
on.
funny that, like, on the Encore you just brought up, the compressor is bigger than the engine.
Whoa.
The AC compressor has a larger displacement than
And to take out the radiator, you have to take apart like a lot of the bumper and the frame, and like why isn't it just 2 bolts and I pull it out? Why didn't they give me enough room to do anything?
Because they hate you.
Because it's Opel and they suck. They just suck. Like Buick and GM, because the Buick Enclave is a Chevy Trax, is a Cadillac something. I don't remember what theirs is. I mean, we'll put it up here, but it's junk. And then even when you go larger than that, you still run into this problem. Like, let's talk about the Traverse. That's probably the largest crossover. The Traverse is a third-row seat vehicle. And it's a poop. Like, if you need to do a starter, you're taking a cat converter out, a radiator fans, all that to reach the starter.
What was that one we did where it needed a coolant hose that ran underneath the intake? So we had to take
that
apart.
Was a Mazda 3.
No, it was a
That-
GM product.
That does not sound
A
fun.
GM with a coolant hose. The GMC Terrain.
Yes.
Yep, that's a poop. Don't buy that. Anything with the GM 3.6 is horrible. And as crossovers as a whole, anything with the 3.6, the Dodge Journey, the GMs, anybody who has a 3.6 designation, I've not come across a good 3.6. That's like a cursed number. That every 3.6 has been a piece of poop.
They're all just bad.
They're every one of them, and it's not just brands. Like every brand that's made a 3.6, it's gone horribly wrong. Like they're junk. So stay away from 3.6s. You know, if you're gonna get a cross, we should give them what the best crossovers are. Rav4, Highlander. Like you really only have one. The Sorrento's pretty good.
Sorrento. What is this, a Sequoia full size?
Sequoia
it's the
is
biggest
huge.
full
It's
size.
bigger than a
It's
4Runner.
huge.
Yeah.
That's a big boy.
It's a big boy.
Hyundai has the Santa Fe is pretty good, and the Sorrento. So Sorrento, Santa Fe, Rav4, and Highlander. Those are really your options if you're trying to buy one. The Pilot, big poopy energy.
Yeah,
the CRV was in our recall list we just did on the Defending Hyundai video. The CRV is a toilet. Like
if you get a Honda Pilot, keep that 8-inch starter bolt away from me.
that starter bolt is horrible. Like, that is awful, and it's buried in the transmission. But anyway,
Dude, the extension sword we had going on.
It's way off topic. Hope you guys enjoyed this pretty interesting video about crossovers from Grumpy Monkey Garage. We'll see you next time. Be sure to like and subscribe. We'll see you later. Pretty good description of what we're about to do. Roll the intro. Okay. Weird duck noises from me.
That was the Ford intro.
Yeah.
The Ford, the Ford commercial.
You ever get confused with your wife and her twin sister and accidentally f*** dead? That's what it's like to drive an F-150.
You gotta speak up for the video. No one can hear you.
Okay. All right. I'm glad somebody's having a good time with this. There's no more cheese for you, lady.
No more cheese.